we we didn't make that the name of it, but I think he would have liked that. Um, so this is the front entrance. It's a two-story, 34 units, in pretty rough condition. And we took it over from Sanford Capital. I'll keep it on here. In 2018, it was in foreclosure. They were a really terrible owner. Um, we were delayed from our redevelopment project because of the pandemic and DHCD funding rounds. But we're back on track. We're doing great. We have our award and we're moving forward toward a closing in the fall. So a financial closing and then demolition and everything in the fall. So we're gonna build this into 70 units. We're actually gonna have 15 3-bedroom units, which you may know is very special for affordable housing in DC. It's gonna be 100% affordable. We're gonna have 8 units at 30%, which is very tough, but 28 units, the majority of our units are gonna be 50% and below. And you can see this breakdown: 16 at 60% and 18 at 80%, but all affordable. So we have our zoning approval for our PUD in place. We have our DHCD award in place, and we're just finishing up our designs and our construction documents and getting ready. One of the biggest things we've been working on is relocation right now, and just making sure that we're finding good places for the residents to move to. There are 25 residents that need to be relocated. And we're in the midst of that right now. This is the site plan, the new site plan. It's, it doesn't show much, but I like this. This is sort of the look of the new building. It's going to be 4 stories instead of 2, all brand new brick facade. So, and then this is just a look of it from what it's going to look like from the street. This is North Capitol going north, coming around the bend at Hawaii. This is some of our initial designs of the interior. Our interior designer was interested in sort of reflecting the sort of military theme of the surrounding community, with the old soldiers home nearby, with the coloring and stuff, and a modern look. I just wanted you to know, this is affordable housing. We're really trying to make this look nice for the residents and make a great place for them. This is the color board and color and texture board for the inside of the units, with like a white backsplash, gray cabinets, and sort of a like nice wood grain floor. I wanted to share this because I thought it was really interesting that this is kind of before and after of our initial community engagement. We initially proposed a 5-story building with 78 units and 12 parking spaces. And through engagement with you all before me, with my predecessor, we settled on a 4-story building that was 70 units. We added more 2 and 3 bedrooms, and we added a few more parking spaces. We're doing some of the most advanced sustainability in DC. There's only one other building that is a multifamily LEED Platinum, U.S. Green Building Council LEED Platinum property. And this is my background. Previously to working at Wesley Housing, I was at the National Housing Trust for 10 years as the director of sustainability. So I do this stuff every day in the course of business. And we're doing central heating and cooling, a solar and green roof. This is a picture from the company that we're working with on an integrated solar and green roof. EV charging stations, we know that's going to be coming and happening by the time, you know, we're in this building. A lot of the cars that are going to be parking here are going to be electric, and low flow water fixtures. So this is just, I'm almost done. This is the timeline, roughly. We're working on the relocation right now in May and June. In September and October, we're going to complete our designs and our permit and close on financing. And we're going to be in construction from this fall through the summer of 2024. It's going to be about 20 months. And we are going to be leasing, bringing residents back and leasing up the other units in the latter half of 2024. This is, sorry, that should say August to December 2024. This is just a little bit about the resident benefits. So during the construction period, we're going to temporarily relocate the residents to a place of their choosing. And it's about, we're trying to stay within 2 miles, and we're not dictating to them where they can go. They're telling us where they want to go. And we're providing options, but they're telling us. And we're making sure we're paying the difference in their rent so that their rent stays the same as it is currently. And we are offering them anywhere from wherever they want to go, from Class B to Class A apartments. Our board chair wants to go to the Modern at Art Place. And that is fine with us. We want these residents to be happy, and then we want to move them back to the property, all of them. And I just want to be clear about this. Everyone has the right to return to the property. Wesley Housing, it wants to stabilize this property and make it so people could live there a long time. And so what else? They're going to get brand new units. They're going to we're going to cap any increases on their rents. They're going to have very low utility expenses because it's a sustainable building. And they're going to have our resident services. So the last slide is just I want to leave it on this. I'm done and open for questions. But this is the most important slide.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Any of my commissioners?
Mr. Washington, I do have a question.
Sure.
Mr. Lang, thank you so much for that presentation. I appreciate it. So I remember when you all presented before, I appreciate the fact that you added more parking. I believe one of the concerns that came up when you all presented before was the traffic flow of parking into that parking lot. Can you tell me whether that's still the same, whether you guys have adjusted that at all, or?
So I will say that I understand I understand your thinking, and the PUD was approved by the time I started, and that was set in place and approved by the commission at the time. So it has not changed in terms of where the entrance is. And we are right now working our way through DDOT. They have raised concerns about some things, and we're working through that. We're also looking at some ways to do some traffic calming and working with Commissioner Washington. We applied for some grants to engage more with DDOT all around the property beyond our property. But that entrance is
Excuse me,
still.
interrupting real quick. Have you all conducted or worked with a traffic study group?
Yes.
Yes, they have.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And Commissioner Lucio, I know what you're talking about. We had a discussion as it related to the entrance and the coming out of the driveway there.
Right.
And I think we kind of got that straightened out prior to the approval and when
Okay.
it went through the PUD, yeah, so that because that was definitely a concern, not only for the residents, but for us as commissioners as well.
Correct. And I sort of assumed that that had been done through
Yes.
the PUD already. I just wanted to double check and see. So I
Yes, it
appreciate
has.
that. So, and I'm glad to know that you're still working with DDOT and traffic calming measures.
Oh, yes.
Back. So,
Very closely. You can't get any building permit without going through DDOT.
yeah, I know.
So,
So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I can just will just add then from the prior discussions, I think before we approved this application, there was that discussion about the parking, and they made adjustments, I think, that were a part of the final plan that we considered when we voted to support the application.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So are there any other
Karen?
questions or concerns?
Yes. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I want to compliment the gentleman. What you have displayed here, for what I see, this is probably one of the best projects I've seen in doing just a little time I've been at ANC. The solar panels, I wish all the developers would use something of that nature. But the modernization of the building and everything like that, and the recommendations you have here for the cost for people moving in there, outstanding. You have a gentleman who lives in there now, who's a R&B legend. That lives in that building now. So
Is that
on
right?
behalf of me,
Who is that?
I think you did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Who is that?
Yeah,
Who's the R&B legend?
Mr. Cook.
Really?
Frederick Cook.
Yes, Mr. Cook.
Really? Oh, I didn't
You
know
did,
that.
oh, I thought you knew that. Yeah, Mr.
No,
Cook.
I gotta put his name into the internet.
Yes, you do.
No,
Mr.
I
Cook.
mean, he's just a nice, friendly guy. But I didn't know he was an R&B legend also.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Commissioner Lockett, this is something that we're really proud of. The 28 units at 50% AMI. We wish we could go even deeper, but we have to be competitive
Yes.
with DHCD. And, organizations like us, we would do 70 units at 30% AMI, but we're going up against private sector developers
Right.
that are going, they're competing and they're blending a lot more affordability, like higher incomes in there and higher rents.
Well, based on your modernization, what you've done here, I don't think you'll have a problem filling that building up based on these requirements you have here. I don't see that. And like I said, you brought the building up to par, but the solar panels alone will save these individuals so much on their utility bills. And then you provide the things for electrical cars. This is modernization and making people live comfortable here in Washington, D.C. I think you did a fantastic job.
And we are returning them. They are currently living in a building that is in difficult shape, and they're paying rents that are associated with that. And we're returning them to a brand new building at the same rents that they're currently paying.
I wish all the developers do projects just like you did.
Thank you, Commissioner Lockett. Yeah, I want to thank all of my commissioners because we worked very hard and timelessly on this project. We had several meetings and the commissioners were right there with me through this whole series of benefits and through the PUD process and everything. So I really appreciate you guys. And Jared, I thank you so much for coming tonight. If there's no other questions or concerns, thank you again.
No, I just want to thank you, especially. You do an incredible job representing these residents. You really go to bat for them. So it's been a pleasure working with you. Thanks.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And excuse me, I
And
just
I
want
gotta
to
tell
add,
you how much I like you guys. My kids are doing dinner and bath time right now. And I'm spending this time with you guys.
I think Commissioner McDuffie has something to say.
no, I just wanted to second Commissioner Lockett. This was a great presentation and great benefits for the current residents there and the future residents that are going to move in there. Great job, Commissioner Washington, as well. I wasn't around, when it was first presented, but this is great. And I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
add that, no problem.
Commissioner Washington, I think I may need, I don't know if our PUD approval and the letter of support might be enough, but for my DHCD application, we may need, Wesley Housing may need another letter of support from the ANC. So I'll let you know in the next couple.
Okay,
But it's not a hurry. We're
okay,
we have a little bit.
Well,
okay.
just keep in mind that we don't typically meet in July and
Right,
August.
right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Right,
So
so,
our last meeting for the summer is in the end of June. So if you need it before then, so just keep that in mind. And just as a
Exactly.
reminder, please remember to send me the presentation.
Okay.
correct.
I'll do it.
That-
Yes, I'll do it right now. When I'm done here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jared. You're welcome to stay on if you like. If not, thank you guys, both of you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks for the
Mhm.
opportunity.
Sure.
All right, thank you all. Mr. Lane, that was a excellent presentation. We really appreciate your time and here with us this evening. All right, so now we're going to move on. Before I move on, commissioners, I do have one thing that I need to add to the agenda that I had forgotten about. North Michigan Park is having their community day coming up, and they're going to want our support for that. Carmen Williams is going to be on. So right after we get finished with the Wesley Housing Project, then I want to bring Carmen on to talk about that. Everybody
I'm sorry,
okay with that?
after the Wesley Housing Project or after the McDonald's?
After the McDonald's, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right,
Fine.
so the next item on the agenda then would be the ZC case number 2219, the McDonald's Corporation map amendment. Commissioner Lucio, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman Edwards. Good evening, everyone. So as most of you know, the McDonald's project has been going on for years, and like the Wesley Housing Project, the ANC 5A did vote to approve the development of this project over 2 years ago. It has been held up due to the comp plan reservations and also COVID. So tonight we have Layla Batiste. Is she there? Yep, there she is. And I believe I just gave you co-hosting privileges to present an update of the plan, where we're at with things. Commissioners, I do want to remind you that all of you were sent the documents for this project. All of you were sent the FAQ for this project, which hopefully will answer most of your questions. And hopefully, most of that's been addressed, but I'm going to let Layla go ahead and do her presentation. And for the community, all of those documents are also on our website if you'd like to review them yourself. So Layla, I'm going to go ahead and let you get started.
All right. Great. Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay?
It's a little faint, but you're good.
Okay. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I'll try to speak up. And can you see the document on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, good evening. My name is Lila Batiste. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Holland and Knight. And I am here along with my colleague, John Oliver, representing McDonald's. I'm also joined, there are several people from the McDonald's team on the call tonight. The first is the owner operator for the McDonald's site at 4950 South Dakota Avenue, and that's Mr. Raul Alvarez. The regional construction manager from McDonald's, Armin Parker, is also on. And I haven't seen Jamie, but Charlotte Ducksworth and Ian Swain from Community is on, and they are the expediters and the coordinating the community outreach for this project. So we're all here and available to answer questions as we go through the presentation this evening. So I'm sure everybody on this call, I feel like everybody in the city knows this McDonald's site. It is owned by McDonald's Corporation and consists of approximately 21,000 square feet of land area. The restaurant that is on the site now was constructed in 1968 and has it consists of approximately 3,100 square feet. So the property is zoned right now MU3A, and we are proposing to rezone it to MU7B. And the purpose of the rezoning is to accommodate the construction of a new restaurant that has a drive-through. So drive-throughs are not permitted in the MU3A zone, and so the lowest or the first zoning district that would accommodate a drive-through or permit a drive-through is the MU7B zone. And as Commissioner Lucio noted, the rebuild of this site has taken years because the comprehensive plan designation, previous comprehensive plan designation on the property did not support MU7 zoning, and so it wasn't until the property was changed, the designation was changed on the comprehensive plan, that the McDonald's could come in and file for an application to rezone the property. So for a rezoning, I think I heard someone say, you guys, the previous application was a PUD. This is just a straight rezoning. So for an application where there's just a rezoning, the applicant does not submit a site plan. What the commission does instead is evaluate the proposed rezoning based on whether or not it's not inconsistent with the current comprehensive plan designation. So, or it's a comp plan consistency case. And so as long as the map amendment is consistent with the future land use map and the generalized policy map, the commission, the standard of review requires or provides for the approval of the rezoning. And so this slide shows you the comprehensive plan designation for the property. On the future land use map, the property is designated moderate density commercial, and that land use category specifically supports MU7 zoning. And then on the generalized policy map, the property is designated neighborhood commercial center, which specifically provides for small food markets, branch banks, and restaurants, including fast food restaurants. So the proposed MU7 zoning is consistent with both of these designations on the comprehensive plan. And so the purpose of this slide is just to show what the MU7B zoning standards are compared to what the McDonald's restaurant that will be reconstructed on the site will be. I know that there was a concern that maybe the site would be redeveloped with something other than a McDonald's, and that's not the case. So what I've done is just, and I won't go through each column or row, but I wanted to just show you that the MU7B zone permits a height of 65 feet. The restaurant that's being proposed will have a maximum height of 32 feet. And then the MU7B zoning allows for up to 52,500 square feet of non-residential development. And we're proposing a restaurant that has 5,000 square feet. So the restaurant that's being designed for the property is substantially smaller and than what could be developed on the property under the MU7B zoning as a matter of right. And when I say as a matter of right, meaning without a public hearing. So here are some renderings of what the new restaurant will look like. Give you guys a sense. We don't yet have the site plan finalized. Commissioner Lucio, the last time you and I spoke, we were getting ready to go to the DDOT, and DDOT gave us, we presented a plan that showed 2 curb cuts for access in and out of the site on South Dakota Avenue. DDOT asked us to provide queuing analysis for those proposed curb cuts. We would actually close one of the curb cuts, which is consistent with DDOT's policies. There are 3 curb cuts now. We discussed a plan that reduced the number of curb cuts from 3 to 2. And DDOT has asked for some additional analysis supporting the curb cut. So once we get further along in that process, we will come back to you, Commissioner Lucio, and then the larger ANC if that's what you would like.
Thank you. That'd be appreciated.
And so this last slide just shows kind of the outline of the zoning process. We met with Commissioner Lucio's single-member district constituents on May 5th. And we, at this point, look for the Office of Planning to submit what's called a set-down report. It's a preliminary report. We got a note from them that said they expect to do that by the end of the summer before the Zoning Commission takes their recess. And so that puts us at a hearing that's probably in October more than September. So we expect the public hearing before the Zoning Commission in the fall, early fall. And so that's where we are in terms of our zoning process. We are here this evening to ask for the ANC support of this application. Not just I, but the McDonald's team has committed to Commissioner Lucio that we will keep her and the community updated on the design as it develops, but and we're committed to doing that, but the application before you is just for the rezoning. And so we respectfully request this ANC support. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. Chairman Edwards, let me just add that as Leila mentioned, they met with my single member district a few weeks ago, and there were no concerns that weren't addressed by them in the end. And so I believe that we could move forward with this with support for their application if the commission approves that. Thank you.
All right, and thank you. The presentation was very good. I didn't hear anything new from what we had previously talked about when we originally reviewed the application. I just wanted, just for clarification, again, sort of help me to understand the process. So I know when we approved the application, we knew that the comprehensive plan and rezoning was going to be necessary. So now in the comprehensive plan, the final plan approved, then we're back now with the application for rezoning. And I heard you say that that had to come after the comp plan approved. Well, I believe I heard. So help me understand the changes that were necessary to the comp plan, and then so and again, why we have to, because I know our original vote included all these considerations, and I know now that there is the new application. So just kind of help me understand the process again.
So now that the comp plan designation was approved by the city council, and actually it's been some time now since that was done.
Excuse me again. Yeah, tell us a little bit again about that designation that the comp plan now puts in place. So,
So the comp plan now designates the property as moderate density commercial. And I'm sorry, I'm looking through my PowerPoint here.
I think you said some of that in your presentation too.
Yeah, it's here. So the property is now designated moderate density commercial, and I'm going to share my screen so those. My screen share.
Hold on, I gotcha. Go ahead.
All right. So on the screen is the language from the comprehensive plan for both the moderate density commercial designation and the neighborhood commercial center designation on the generalized policy map. And so if you notice, Commissioners, in the moderate density commercial description, it identifies the zoning districts that are consistent with this designation. It lists two, MU5 and MU7. And so that is the basis for our application to rezone the property to MU7. MU5 doesn't permit drive-through restaurants, so we're going to the first or the lowest zoning category that does, and that's the MU7.
Okay, that's good. I know that there was some questions, I think, concerning that whole process, and like I said, I know we did agree to it from the beginning. But now, and then help me understand, this includes not only the McDonald's address, but also the next. Help me understand that, or is it just the property that McDonald's is on?
Right. The rezoning application pertains only to the property that the McDonald's is on, 4950 South Dakota Avenue.
Okay.
But Chairman Edwards, so Lila, just help clarify this, because this question came up in our SMD meeting too.
Yes.
But the parcel is bigger than that. And I have been in contact with the owner of the property that's next door to that, and there are no plans for doing anything with that. And that would be a separate application. They'd have to go through a separate process, and that is not included in this whatsoever. Correct, Layla?
Right. That's correct. I think there was some concern because, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
I have my cursor around the area on the comprehensive plan map, the future land use map that was changed. And so the yellow property is the McDonald's property, but the land use designation or comp plan amendment affected more than just the McDonald's site, right? So I think that was the confusion. It included not just the McDonald's, but the property next door, the shopping center. But McDonald's doesn't control that shopping center. They've not approached either way about the redevelopment of, combined redevelopment of the site. So I think that's where maybe some people had a concern about both properties being redeveloped, but that the zoning application only pertains to the McDonald's site. And it's only for the purpose of reconstructing a restaurant or building a new restaurant with a drive-through.
Okay. All right. I saw if you could remove your thing now. There were some hands up. Yeah. I guess I see Carmen. Is that you? And
We've
Bill.
also got Commissioner Lockett is also, so what as for.
All right, so let's order him
commissioners.
first. Commissioner
Yep.
Lockett, you have the floor.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna be brief, okay? My concern, I think you said just now, is that the zoning change is only for the lot for McDonald's. It does not affect the other lot. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so does that mean that you'll still change that other lot to build something based on the comprehensive plan? Is
Not
that
us, not McDonald's.
right?
not
The lot
McDonald's.
next
So
door, the lot next door to it.
So could I ask the question another way? Is it necessary to rezone both lots? Why, I guess, is the question. Why are you rezoning both lots?
We're only rezoning the
They're
McDonald's
not.
lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not.
We're not
They're
rezoning.
not,
both.
they're only
They're not.
rezoning that one.
Only McDonald's,
Okay.
Okay.
which means the other person would have, whoever owns it, if they want to do something, in my
They have-
opinion, they have to go through the same process.
Same
That's correct.
procedure
They would
right
have to
now.
go through
Yes.
the PUD or the Board of Zoning. They'd have to go through the single member
Right.
district. They'd have to go through the ANC. So they can, as I said earlier, they cannot do anything to that property next door without the typical process that we typically go through.
And that's the understanding I thought when we did this some time ago, talking about McDonald's, and I talked to Mr. Alvarez as a meeting, is that the way they were structuring the McDonald's, I agree, because you're going to change it where the traffic came off of South Dakota Avenue and came back on the South Dakota Avenue, not going into the residence. I was satisfied with that. Me and Mr. Alvarez, and I guess we talked and they agreed and made those changes. But now I'm getting other information that makes me believe that the change in the zoning was reflecting the other lot. Now, right now, I asked the question for the last time. that zoning change is only for the McDonald's.
That is correct.
Thank you. My problem is solved.
All right. Okay, so then Carmen, I think you're next.
Yes, thank you and good evening. Okay, the question that I have is, if the zoning is changed for McDonald's, if you all approve the zoning change for McDonald's and the lot, if the owners of the lot next door come back to request a zoning change, why would you deny them?
Oh, I don't think anybody said
I mean,
we
if
would.
we
That's a
approve
good question,
McDonald's,
Carmen.
if you approve McDonald's,
Mhm.
there's no reason to deny the other owners to go in and do what they need to do if the zoning is changed.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think we would go through the process like we would with any other development, like, you know, we would want to make sure that it fits the needs of the community. We would want to make sure it's something the community wants. You know, we would go through it like with anything else, like with a liquor store or anything else in that development.
But if the zoning is changed by matter of right, they wouldn't have to.
If the zoning is changed, but they can still go through, they'd still have to go through the PUD process.
But why would you deny them if you're going to approve McDonald's? I mean,
Because they're
give
two
me
separate
a reason why.
developments. They're two separate
Well, let
developments.
me,
But if they're changed from an MU3 to an MU5 or an MU7, that means they're going up. MU7, which is they're mixed use, which means if they decide that they want to come back to us based on the zoning change that you all are approving for McDonald's, we don't have a reason to turn them down for if it's already approved for McDonald's to get theirs for at an MU7.
all right, let
Wouldn't
me,
it be
let me,
what they decide to bring into the community to turn them down, just like we
hold
turn
up,
the
hold
liquor
up,
store?
hold up 1 minute, because what I don't want to do is spend a whole lot of time here tonight talking about something that might happen later on. Only thing I want to do, and we've made that clear here, is that the application that we are looking at tonight only covers this property for the McDonald's, and it does not cover anything else. What would happen with the future application is not anything that we need to talk about tonight. Nobody here has decided anything with regard to the other property. We just wanted to make sure that what we were voting on or listening to tonight, we want to be clear on what it covers. And now we're clear. It only covers the McDonald's property. So we don't have to talk about the other site. Let's end that discussion now.
But if you make an approval tonight for McDonald's, that leaves way for an approval for the property that's next to it.
Exactly. And so we have to wait though until they come to us with an application. If they don't ever come to us with an application, then we don't have anything to talk about.
Because that'd be something that's considered next time that happens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I don't want to
Thank you
spend
for your
time
help.
tonight talking about something that may or may not happen. We're clear here in terms of what we're doing with this application. The next door applicant come to us, we would treat them the same way we treat any applicant, and this applicant in particular. So
Okay, I have one other thing.
okay.
They are scheduled to present to the Civic Association on the 1st of June. But because you have 200 footers that are also in Lockett's area and a block over in Gordon's area, that they have the same right to present to their residents as well.
So
Because they've not heard it.
So what are you saying?
Well, hold on a second, Commissioner, Ms. Williams. That the single member district meeting that I held was publicly noted, and so the residents from both of those single member districts and those commissioners were welcome to attend.
But they have not had chance to have their meetings.
But
Okay.
they and their residents were
And
welcome
they
to
have,
attend.
my meeting is the 1st of the month.
Right,
So
but
you
that's
have
not
the
an
yours-
ANC meeting, right? But that's different than an
It's
ANC
not,
meeting.
but my meetings cover the whole community.
Carmen,
Yes.
Carmen, let me say that when we receive these applications from zoning, we have a time limit with which we have to respond in terms of the zoning application. civic associations, ANCs, and everybody, once we know what that schedule is, then have to adjust their meetings if necessary in order to make sure that if you want to have a discussion on the application prior to it getting to the ANC, so that you can have that discussion and then make the recommendation to the ANC. But in the case
Right.
where the schedule is in place, the ANC schedules its meeting according to that schedule. The SMD holds a single member district meeting within the SMD, notifies the civic association and all the residents who participate. Once that happens, and in this case, it seems it has happened, we can't be concerned about what happened with you all in June. If you want to still, if you still want to have a meeting to discuss it in June, that's fine, but we can't wait for that. And the commission have to sort of make our decisions in a timely manner.
Let me also add to that, that at the North Michigan, hold on one second, Carmen. And let me just add to that, that at the North Michigan Park meeting, it was announced that that my single member district was having a meeting, the date, the time, and how to find the link. And Commissioner Lockett and I believe Commissioner Fletcher was also there, so they knew. And so there was nothing that precluded them if they did not want, if they wanted to reach out and schedule their own meeting. There was nothing that's precluded them from being able to do that, but they certainly were notified that a public meeting was taking place and they were welcome to attend.
Okay, if I understand this correctly, McDonald's doesn't need to go to the hearing until September, October.
But we don't meet in July and August.
No,
But you meet in June. But you meet the end of June.
but that doesn't
Ms.
happen.
Lucio, when you put a statement out that says, if you live in my SMD, this is your meeting. I did not see any invitation to any other ANC commissioners to come to your meeting.
I will tell you that there were residents.
Ms. Lucio, I did see a statement in there where you recognize one of the residents to come as a guest. Come as a guest.
And that's correct.
Not just
Because
Ms. Lucio, hold on. Now, one other thing. Now, when I brought to your attention about the 200 footers being notified, I've not heard anything from anybody pertaining to that, and I live right across the street. Now, the Lower Company Holland and Knight, on their application or information there, it says if you have any questions to call. I call, and I've not got a respond back from at all to inform them that these 200 footers have not been included into this decision making. So as I talk to zoning or whatever it is that I asked them, if you don't meet the requirement for making sure that all the people within that area are notified, why are you processing something? Because that's a requirement. If you don't fulfill that requirement, then how can you continue and the people don't have any input? That's unfair.
Commissioner Lockett.
All right, hold on for 1 minute,
Can I
because I
Okay.
hear, hold on for 1 minute. I hear a situation here that I think it sounds like we have time to address. And if we have time to address it, to allow the community to meet, if there's some areas in the community that want to meet and have some concerns, think they may have concerns, I just want to ask now, in terms of the timeliness of this application, and I'm asking now the young lady from the application, could you tell me, in terms of when is the deadline, I guess, in terms of ANC 5A, based on your knowledge of the application, having to submit our report with regard to this application, because I don't have the application in front of me. So what is the timeline?
So it would, our preference, obviously, as soon as possible, but if we
Not your
were to
preference.
wait, we could wait to the next meeting if we had to. If that made everybody on the call, felt that they were part of the process and informed, we can wait until the end of June, your next meeting, and we would include any correspondence from the ANC in our pre-hearing statement.
Okay, and so, but to answer the question that I asked, do you know in terms of the schedule, because I don't have it in front of me, or Commissioner Lucio, you can answer if she can't. What is the latest that we can submit I just want to make sure I
Oh,
heard
under
it.
the regulations,
Mhm.
under the regulations, I believe you have like 2 weeks prior to the hearing.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Lucio, do you, and what problem do you have with delaying this until the June meeting so that we can vote on this?
I don't have a problem with it at all,
Okay.
Chairman
All right,
Edwards.
so with that, then, so that we can cut the discussions on this part, especially regarding timeliness, I think that we would be best served to sort of delay any report on this because we have time, so that we can make sure that we give all of our commissioners that have concerns, have questions, want to discuss it with their residents, give them an opportunity to get back to us, and in particular our civic association. So having said that, Commissioner
I have a
Washington.
question.
Yes.
Yeah, the question that I have is, as it relates to this situation, is I'm hearing that the Civic Association wants to have a meeting. I'm hearing that Commissioner Lockett has some issues. My concern is Commissioner Lockett going to have a single member district so that he can present what his 200 footers concerns are? And is the Civic Association going to do the same? Or is this going to be one meeting? Because I'm hearing
It will
both
be one
things.
meeting.
I'm
It will
hearing,
be one meeting.
why would it be one meeting? Why wouldn't Commissioner Lockett
Because
have a single member district meeting?
He can
Because I
have
live in
but
North
his single
Michigan
member,
And that's not,
it's
that's,
all, his members and his residents in his single member district, all of
Right.
them are part of North Michigan Park.
Right.
There are none of them that are outside of North Michigan Park.
All right, so let me just say on that particular issue, in response to Commissioner Washington's question, if Commissioner Lockett within his SND chooses to have a single member district meeting, he can have that meeting. I think that he needs to coordinate that with Carmen, so that he makes sure that he have his meeting before she have her meeting, so that you have any recommendations, you can get those recommendations to her civic association.
I would agree with that it needs to be a single member district meeting. I also want to just be
I do
clear.
too.
I also want to make one other point that if Carmen decides to hold her civic association meeting as an SMD meeting, there are also residents who don't live in 5A02 as part of the civic
She
association.
can't have an SMD meeting.
Right.
Sure
She
can.
can have,
Only-
so
Yeah.
Commissioner Lockett has to have
Whoa. So
his
what's
own
been
single
going
member
on for the
district
last
meeting.
10 years here with Ms. Lewis conducting ANC meeting at the Civic Association meeting? That's been going on for 10 years.
No,
But let's don't
no,
talk about
No.
that.
That
Let's
can't
don't
go
talk
back
about
to the
that.
past.
Change the rules.
Yeah,
That's not
and
no
Ms. Lewis
rules.
was a commissioner as well as a civic association
Civic
president.
Association
So-
president.
She was the civic
Well,
association president. That's different. So a
Different.
commission business has to be conducted at a commission meeting, and the civic association is a different body.
Well, I went a little
Yeah.
further than that.
Excuse
I've
me,
drawn up a petition, and it'll be signed by the people who are the 200 feeters that were not notified. And then I would turn it over to the zoning and turn it over to the chairman.
You'll
the
have an
civic association.
opportunity,
Yeah,
just as
I have plenty
other
of time.
commissioners, you'll have an opportunity to make your report to the commission, Commissioner Lockett, and we will hear your report.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner
Yeah.
Edwards, can I just address the 200-foot issue? Because actually Commissioner Lucio raised the concern with me very early on in the process. And
Okay,
I sent to her, the 200-foot property owners list from the district.
right,
And that is what we use. And we actually have to, I have to certify to the zoning commission that this is the list that was provided and this is the list that we used for our mailing. So I
Oh.
apologize, Commissioner Lockett, but it is definitely part of the process. We have to certify to it, and we provide in our application packet the map, the boundaries, and all of the labels, the names and addresses of all of the people that are within that 200-foot boundary as provided to us by the district. So we take that very seriously. And so I apologize if, you felt you should have been included or your other constituents should have been included.
I am less than 100 feet from McDonald's. There are other houses right across the street that are 50 feet. These individuals were not notified about this. I'm not against the McDonald's remodeling. It's just the procedures that you're using and not making everybody stay in the same loop as all of the residents. So we all can be on the same page and know what's taking place in our community.
Can
So
I
am I
suggest
hearing-
that Leila share that list with Commissioner
Yes.
Lockett so that he
Yes.
sees it? I would like to, I would
Yes.
like to suggest that you share that with him, so he knows everyone who is included.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
I was going to suggest that too.
I
Yes.
have a question in reference to the 200 footers. When you all do the 200 footers, when I looked at your diagram, it's from the center of McDonald's and not from property line to property line. Is that correct?
That sounds correct, yes. I
Should
don't
be from the
generate
financial-
the
Why would
list,
you
so-
not do it from property line to property line?
This is, again, generated by the district based on the
Right.
regulation. So
Right.
we don't generate that map or the radius. It's the 200-foot radius.
The 200-footer list is generated by zoning, but what I need, if you could also send me a copy of the list, and then it sounds like Commissioner Lockett is saying, and I know he lived right across the street from McDonald's, that he did not get a notice. Was his name on your list?
No, because it's taken from the middle of McDonald's and not property line.
But I shared that information with Commissioner Lucio and explained to her some time ago that we're not notified. And I never heard him respond to say, oh, I'll check into it, or oh, this is something they
But
they
she
made a
did check
mistake.
into it.
That's not
because she-
true, Commissioner Lockett. That's absolutely not true.
Okay.
yes.
All right. So,
I have a
Sorry,
question.
sorry, my bad.
So I think so that we don't discuss that too long. We have a solution
Okay.
in place. We're going to get the list. We'll examine the list, and then we will address any concerns we have about the list with zoning, because they can't help us.
I still have a question. I'm still
Commissioner
not clear.
Washington, go ahead.
I'm still unclear on the process of having a civic association meeting and an SMD meeting. I thought the process was, if it's a civic association, their meeting, they give their information, their disapproval, approval to the SMD, which is the commissioner. Then the commissioner, either he has his own meeting or he presents what comes from the civic association to the commission. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think what
Yeah.
I'm hearing here.
But I'm just kind of concerned is they're saying they're going to have the joint meeting. Okay, you're having the joint meeting, which means that the civic association and the SMD together are going to agree as to what they want, or whether they approve or disapprove. And then the commissioner is going to present it to the full commission.
Right.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, but I think the only problem that sort of happened here is that we are receiving a presentation like from Commissioner Lucio, but it seems that the other SMD was not taken in consideration at all as it relates to this application. And so what we want to do is to make sure that, because he got residents within the 200-footer, that those residents have had an opportunity to be involved in this discussion and have some say-so about what's going on. They are entitled.
And I agree.
For the record,
I agree,
And
but
it should also be SMD 5808 as well, which is a block away.
they
for
need
the,
to-
for the
but-
record, I just want to clarify that all three of those SMDs, all three SMDs were notified, given the information, and there were residents from another SMD on my meeting. So I do want to clarify that did actually happen.
And I want to add to that each commissioner, regardless of if you were within the 200-foot and it's in another SMD, each commissioner has a right to have their own SMD meeting and presentation.
We
You
got
don't
it.
have to wait for one. You don't have to wait for one
That's right.
because it's in that SMD.
That's right.
And they could have at any point in time set that up and requested that and made that
You have
happen.
a
They
right
didn't have to wait
your
until
own
tonight.
Presentation. Exactly. That's the
Right.
only thing that I'm saying from a commission perspective. You
Yeah.
have a right to have your own SMD meeting to get the same information that the commissioner got within that single district where the development is.
And
That way
everyone,
it would have
all
alleviated
where
the
we-
commissioners
Same
knew
right.
that the McDonald's was coming on this call tonight and could have, knowing that, could have set up that meeting prior to talking about it tonight.
But
All
don't
right.
I have the same
Exactly.
right to participate
Exactly.
in the North Michigan Park Civic Association and share the same information with them because I'm invited to that meeting. So why
I
not give
understand
them
that.
the
I
chance?
understand that,
Right.
Mr. Commissioner Lockett, but
So what's the difference?
but what I'm saying is, if you have all these concerns as a commissioner, you have a right to have a single member district and invite these same individuals to your meeting to present so that you can have the same understanding of what's going on, just like Commissioner Lucio. Nothing bars you from doing that as a commissioner. That's all I'm
No.
saying.
But Ms. Washington, nothing stopped me from sharing it at the North Michigan Park Civic Association also. There's
Okay,
a
but hold
larger
on.
volume.
Hold
Okay,
on. So we,
okay,
hey,
my
look,
bad.
okay, hey, everybody, you all are all saying the same thing. So I
No,
mean,
we're not.
Mr.
No, we're
Mr. Lockett, Commissioner Lockett is basically saying he is comfortable with having a meeting with the Civic Association and inviting
Okay.
his people there and having that
Mhm.
discussion.
Right.
He's comfortable with that. He just feels that up until now, he didn't feel, I guess, that he had the opportunity to do that. And so we are pausing to give him the opportunity to do that. And Commissioner Lockett, you can do it either way you want. You can have your own SMD meeting. You can do it jointly with the Civic Association. But next month in June, when you come back, I just need you to be fine.
But I also want to clarify, if you're going to do it as a joint meeting with the Civic Association and you take any type of vote, the vote count needs to be divided by single member district. So you can say representatively, you are representing the constituents in 5A02.
That's right.
And you have the vote count for 5A02, not
That's
the
right.
whole vote count for North Michigan Park. I
You're
want to
absolutely right.
and
is right.
also, one other thing, if you decide, Commissioner Lockett, that you want to have your own single member district meeting, I am more than happy to help you set that up with a Zoom call so you have all the information and I can walk you through what to do so you know how to do that. I'm
Ms.
happy
Lucio,
to help you do that.
It's going on 1.5 years, and I've yet to have anything from any one of the commissioners to offer any help with this new ANC person in this community. I love North Michigan Park. I've been in the Civic Association, and Ms. Williams will tell you, for years. I love it, and that's a good communication there. But to sit here and tell me now, when I'm getting ready to walk out this door in November, that you're going to offer me some help. What happened all this time before? And like we had the last Civic Association meeting, it's my understanding, and Carmen Williams can probably verify this. I was told that you, Mr. Fletcher, and myself would be meeting together to discuss this over here before we brought it to the ANC full body tonight. This way we could probably have better understanding and we would not be here venting tonight.
All right. And what I want to do is to bring an end to this discussion.
Bill has his hand up.
Because I believe that from a commission standpoint, in terms of where we are, we're clear now, and we're going to go back and take some time to give the community a little bit more time to discuss this. And there were 2 hands that were up, and it was related to this particular topic, I believe, and that's Bill and Deb. So I'm going to hear from Bill first, and then we'll hear from Deb, and then we should be able to move on from this.
Okay, 2 things. Putting her PowerPoint presentation tonight on the website. Number 2, a chill went up my spine when I saw the pictures that she presented of the design of this new McDonald's thing. In McDonald's right now, there's a sign that's been sitting there for 2 years showing how it's going to look. What she showed tonight had 2 stories. I never seen a McDonald's with 2 stories. I'm not kind of old school. I don't know. But this thing got 2 stories where this is what frightens me. Is this the only McDonald's with 2 stories in DC?
No,
or
it is not.
No. Okay.
There's one
Avenue.
there's one on New York Avenue.
Okay, everything's cool. Everything's cool. Okay. So, but I'm just saying, my commissioners, when Harry Thomas Jr. came with this talking this stuff, he went from, let's say, 2 to 3, and then they're going from 3 to 7. I'm nervous, and now they're going to a 2-story McDonald's. I'm just putting that on the table. It has nothing to do with zoning. It just has to do with the design. But that's what it's all about. Changing that. This is crazy. Okay.
Okay.
I'm done.
No, Mr. Smith, hold on for 1 minute. So the numbers you threw out, you said 2 to 7 and then 3 to something. Explain those numbers again.
He's
Harry
talking
Thomas
about-
Jr. Okay, the zoning thing initially a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, when that other, I don't know if it was the same attorneys or not, but anyway, it said, I forgot, I don't have it in front of me right now. I'm just giving a hypothetical. Zone, just say the zone 2, and they want to do this drive-through. It's going to go to a zone 3. Okay. Now, but I'm just making a hypothetical. Now, this Holland and Knight has been coming to us. They're in the mix now. No more Harry Thomas Jr. Holland and Knight saying 7. That's a big jump, baby. 3 to 7.
We're not making 7
Oh,
stories.
he's talking about the zoning district.
Oh, he's talking about the identification
Zoning
number for the zoning.
You know, the category. I don't know these categories. I don't know the lingo, the whatever. But I'm just saying this is what frightens me.
Okay, I got you. So I think the only thing that we're doing now that we didn't do then was identify the MU 7B versus MU 3A or whatever. And so they're just being clear now, I think, in terms of identifying that. But the all right, is that it? Okay,
No.
so you said you were finished. So Deb, you're up.
Yes, my question was similar to what Bill just said. I believe when at the single member district meeting, it was stated that the site plan or whatever did not have to be part of the zoning application. So this was my first time also seeing the rendering, the picture, and the 2-story height. I do have questions and concerns about, particularly in reference to how it faces, what it would look like as comparison to the houses across the street on Delafield, et cetera. So if this isn't the opportunity to talk about that, there'll be further meetings to talk about the design. I'm willing to hold off, but I do have concerns and questions.
All right, and so I do want to just say, because I was, that very first meeting we had with them and all the maps that they came and showed us, it was always our understanding that this McDonald's was going to be the new and the best of McDonald's, the first one of its kind, almost in terms of operations, sort of in DC, and it did include the 2 stories.
2 stories, that's correct.
When we reviewed this and approved it. So this is not new to us. It may be new to some people that are here tonight in terms of the discussion, but I think if there are concerns about height and you got some concerns about the height, then let's talk about those specific concerns. I mean, but beyond that, I think we have all sort of been waiting and looking forward to the new McDonald's, the 2-story McDonald's, the drive-in, the streets and the traffic flow. We had all the discussions about all that and sort of had all that stuff worked out. So I do want to make sure we stay on par in terms of our earlier discussion, that we don't take everybody back if we don't necessarily have to.
And I was at several of those meetings as well. And so I just wanted I'll just see how consistent we are with some of the notes that I have from past meetings too.
Okay.
I've been a for a long time.
Okay, Commissioner Rojas, now you have.
No, I was just going to quick note that I don't see really a problem with a 2-story McDonald's.
I don't either.
if the demand is there, and it's going to bring in more jobs, it's going to be a better McDonald's. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
If I can shed a little light, this is Raul Alvarez, the owner.
Yes.
I've listened. Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. I also have Armin Parker, who is the development manager coordinator for McDonald's, who's also on the call. He would have also more information about a 2-story. The 2-story McDonald's that we're proposing has the kitchen upstairs. It's not for seating upstairs. Because of the footprint of the restaurant, losing the additional ingress and egress site, the third site closest to Delafield, we're limited on the space or the size of the building. The building that we've posted a few years ago, we were trying to make work, but it just doesn't work in the footprint size that we needed. So putting the kitchen upstairs, right now there's a store like that being built in Baltimore. These restaurants have been built in Europe for years. They're designed for smaller footprint areas. So it's not that we're going to put seating upstairs. We're not going to be building anything additional. We'll have a mechanism that actually the food is cooked upstairs and would come downstairs. Right now we're a 2-story building because we have a basement. And that's the only way we can actually fit. Our inventories are downstairs. Our food is kept in the basement and actually brought up the stairs. So we still already have 2 stories. but for that footprint and that size, this is different. I will pull down what we have there because that also has sat there a few years in the restaurant, and there's going to be a change. And when we get to the point of a final drawing that we're going to be able to present to you, then that was what we'll replace in the restaurant. Because as we're just going through quite a few different drawings, I've probably helped look at about 10 to 15 with McDonald's in the past few weeks or months. And this was the one that I also agreed upon that also kept the parking spaces. We were losing, I think, 6 to 7 parking spaces on that site, as opposed to some that would only have 10 parking spaces. My thoughts back to McDonald's is this is a community restaurant, and a lot of our community members drive to the site. We can't have 12 sites, which would include the handicap parking, which means only 10 available sites at the most. So this is one that fits most of our needs, but it's definitely not one that we're looking to build up and add a residence above, as we're hearing some of that, some concerns from community members. It's just that it's just a new format, and when we get closer, we'll be able to present something as we go through our permitting process, and we know exactly what we're going to build. Armin, if you're on and you'd like to add anything, that'd be helpful too.
Yeah, thank you, Raul. Hello, everyone, and I appreciate the time and the conversation. Raul put it very, very specifically. You know, it's really the footprint of the building that we're going to a smaller footprint that allows us to utilize the site space more efficiently. It's all about trying to maximize our parking and serve our customers with the drive-through lane. On delivery is one aspect of the business that we've really learned about and improved on as a result of COVID. And having a drive-through lane really helps our delivery. Having maximizing parking really helps our delivery service be able to serve the community as well. So, but what Raul said is spot on. And this would be the latest and greatest of our 2-story designs for our corporate prototypes.
All right, and that's the conversation that I remember from day one, I think, in terms of when we sort of started with this application. I saw Commissioner Preston, was you raising your hand, or you was Commissioner Washington, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Harmon, if you have something that you want to say, you can be next. Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So I just want to understand that we're delaying the vote tonight on the map, the comprehensive plan map adjustment. Is that what we're doing?
The rezoning, the
rezoning.
map.
We're delaying the vote on the rezoning.
Yeah.
And of that due to residents not being notified, or because the residents of the 200 footers were not notified, or they are not in conformance to the map approval. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm kind of confused a little bit why we're delaying the vote tonight.
Well, we're delaying the vote tonight, and this is only something that I've put on the table. It's not a final decision, but that because we have time, and the hearing is not until sometime in September or something, I think I heard. And the
September,
commission,
October.
Yeah, and so I have at least the one resident, the president of the Civic Association, and I have an ANC, a joint ANC that is saying here tonight, hey, we haven't had time yet to comment on this application. And I'm very concerned about Commissioner Lockett, especially because his area is definitely within the 200-foot area, and his community needs time to have some input on this. And since there is no rush for us, and doing this tonight would be of no advantage to the applicant here, we can take the time to allow our neighbors and our residents here to fully vet this application, so that when it comes to us, we get to take in perspective the entire community's concern. So that's why we're delaying it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's no problem on my end. It's no problem on my end with regard to the application. My only concern here is making sure that Commissioner Lockett And Carmen Williams is satisfied in terms of making sure that their constituents, which are our constituents, have an opportunity to have input on this project. It's going to affect them. And they
Chairman
should
Edwards.
have.
Commissioner Edwards, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lockett, would it be helpful for you if I pulled up the map for the 200-foot property owners?
That's up to you if you want to, but it's my understanding.
I would like to see it after all
Okay.
of this
I-
discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lynn, and do that
ahead.
if you want. Chairman Edwards, I just want to just clarify, and again, I am not opposed to delaying this vote until our June meeting so that they have an opportunity. But just to clarify, you know, since we've already voted on this in the past, there's no significant change, right? There's nothing significant that's changed that we're, you know, having to approve. But I mean, most of this was, you know, for information purposes and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that, you know, we're clear on that. I mean, and also to note that, you know, all three SMDs and the Civic Association can continue to meet with Holland and Knight and the McDonald's corporations all the way through going through this process. So, you know, I don't
So
know.
I
if
just
we
don't,
necessarily-
let me stop you there, because what I don't want to do, and I hear you, you're saying that we could make a decision tonight and then Lockett and the Civic Association could meet afterwards. And if they have some concerns, then their concerns wouldn't be a part of our report. That wouldn't be fair. And so I think that what we need to do is just, and I hear you, I'm with you. I would be ready to vote tonight on this application if there was not some unreadiness here. There's unreadiness. We got time on our side. I don't see a reason why we don't take the time to let Commissioner Lockett and those residents on that part in the Civic Association, to the extent that Ms. Williams needs to want to discuss this. We have time. Why not?
As I said, I have no opposition to it. I just wanted to
Okay.
make that point.
All right.
So is this the map for the 200 footers?
Yes, so this is a map generated by the district that it's a 200-foot radius, right? And so I think Ms. Williams was correct. They use the property, the center of the property, to serve as the kind of the measuring point, and then they draw a radius, a circle, really a 200-foot radius around the subject property, and those are the people. The owners are required to get notice.
And
I'm
so
looking
I'm
at
looking
the-
at Commissioner Lockett's area right there, which is up at the top center of this chart. Well, no, I'm going
Yes.
wrong.
No, his is on the South Dakota Avenue side.
He's on.
Yeah, it's the ones that are labeled 1, 2, and
Yeah.
3.
Right, yeah, you're right, right there, right there. I'm right there.
Right,
Yeah.
well,
Okay,
Right
so
there.
you're just outside of the 200-foot
You're outside of
radius.
it.
You're outside, your
Yeah,
house
you're
is outside of it. But his
yeah, that's what I'm
residence,
looking at.
You're
That's the gas
outside of it.
station.
No,
You are.
That's because they take it from the center of McDonald's and not
That's
the
right.
property line. If they had taken it from the property line, he would be a 200-footer, and so would I.
Yeah, but that's not on us. That's on zoning.
It's on zoning.
That's
So,
zoning.
yeah,
So what it covers is grass area and the businesses on the other side of South Dakota
Mhm.
Avenue and the
Yep.
couple of houses that are on South Dakota at 10th Street.
well, and there's 3
No.
houses. There are 3 houses in Commissioner Lockett's SMD, the ones that are numbered 1, 2, and 3. Those are all in. Commissioner-
and I
And
got
part
one
of
of those
4.
individuals to say they were not notified. Right there.
I
That's
I
section
would
1,
double
2,
check
3.
I would double check the list, Commissioner Lockett. She says she's sending it to you, so you should be able to confirm that.
yeah, this is an interesting map, and
Yes, it
Commissioner
is.
Lockett, I was looking at your where you
You're not
live,
in it.
and it's not in it. But
You're not in it.
commissioners, again, even with this map, if you all are okay, I mean, it's up to the commission, how we want to proceed at this point. But my recommendation is that we take the time and we bring it back in June. But if there's some unreadiness on this and someone else would like to move forward, the floor is open.
Leila, are you okay with waiting until June?
I'm okay with that.
Raul, are you okay with that? Okay, so since they're okay with that, I'm good with that as well. And so I'm happy to defer this until our June meeting.
I'm not good with it. You're telling me I'm not in that area? Then if I'm not in
According to
that
the
area,
map.
I expect, based on the map, If I am not in the area, I expect for you to follow procedures and do what you need to do.
But
I hope
Commissioner
I did-
Lockett, you've got residents from your single member district who are on that map. So therefore you are responsible for those those 4 houses that are on your that are on the map.
That's
So
right.
you have this opportunity now. We're giving you this opportunity to go to those
We'll
residents
postpone
and
it.
get their
Postpone it
input.
until then. Fine with me. I'm trying to work with you because I would love to see the improvement of McDonald's. Mr. Alvarez, tell you, we talked, but at the same time, I want to make sure the procedures are fair, that the people and the residents know exactly what they're getting and what we're working with here. I don't want to come in here and somebody say, well, you approved that and we had no input. I'm not going to live that. I don't want the motor people have the same involvement that's involved with everything on the other side of McDonald's. If they're within that range, you're fine. But to place that dot in the middle of the store, that's in the kitchen or the countertop.
But
That
that's
is
up
wrong.
to zoning.
That's zoning.
That's
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 zoning.
zoning. That has
That's
nothing to
zoning.
do with us or the developer. That's zoning.
Well,
That's right.
I'm an engineer technician retired from the feds. And normally when we measure the distance from something, we took the front entrance, but this is what they do. That's the way DC government. I'm not familiar with that. Okay.
Commissioner Lockett, we
I'm gonna leave it
feel
alone.
you, we understand you, but right now we are stuck with a document that we received from the
That's
government,
right.
and we can't resolve that tonight. Commissioner Lucio and the rest of the commission has agreed to provide a
I'm
little
at
bit more
McDonald's.
time for
I'm
some
fine.
more
I'm at
discussion
McDonald's
within the
right now.
community. Let's
I'll be
take it.
talking to the community next week. I'll talk to the
Okay,
people in
thank
the area
you.
next week. Thank you.
Thank
All
you. I
right.
think we're good on this topic. So thank you.
All right.
Yes,
No,
thank you very much.
Somebody's trying to say something? Okay.
I'm at McDonald's right now looking at this 2-story. No. He said he was 2 stories. This is not 2 stories.
We're done with that.
I'm standing at McDonald's right now.
But he said he
I
was.
can see- What? I'm sorry.
Well, Mr. Smith, we're done with this topic for right now. We can talk about
Yes.
the plan later. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you all again, Miss Batiste, Lila, I guess, and team. Thank you all for a good report. The long discussion on this had nothing to do with your presentation, just a discussion within the community to make sure that we're all on the same page as we move this thing forward. Thank you all, and
Thank
with
you
that,
for having us.
Thank you. Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you. I'd like to have a copy of that map. Can you send that to Emily?
It's in the
Yes.
folder with everything else, I believe.
It is?
but
Oh,
on the
oh,
website.
so I may already have it. I printed
And
everything
the
out.
list. And
If
the
you don't
list
have, if you
of,
don't have it, I'll send it to you, but I also put all the documents on the website, but I'll double check on that.
Yeah, I may already have it. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank
We're moving on now, and Carmen, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. One of the things that North Michigan Park, in conjunction with the Alumni Association of North Michigan Park and Department of Parks and Recreation, we're having our Community Day, August the 13th. We've not had anything in the last 2 years because of the pandemic. So we're planning an event in August. So one of the new processes with DPR is that it must come before the ANC and get an approval from the ANC for us to have the event, because we are having live music. So I'm looking for the support from the ANC for our event on August the 13th. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
muted?
Commissioners, this is an event that needs no explanation. It's the event of the year for North Michigan Park. They always have it. Haven't had it the last couple of years. Ms. Williams is indicating that the Department of Public Works would like a letter from ANC with regard to this matter. Having had that, heard the discussion, what's your pleasure?
I have a question.
Question?
Yeah, what's the time of the event? And how many residents have been notified as to about the loud music or the sound or whatever you're going to be having? Is that
No one
something
has been notified as of yet. We're waiting for the approval. We typically have between 300 and 400 residents, and the time will be from 12 to 7.
So we approve it and then you send the information out. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct.
Yeah, that sounds like it would probably, it makes sense, so that she wouldn't, she gotta get the approval to have the event before she can send the notice out. She send the notice out and say she gonna have it and then don't get
And then we
approved.
don't have it.
So she'll be messed up.
So, and will be all kind of protocols taken in place into
Yes, we'll have
consideration as it relates to
Metropolitan
COVID and
Police.
everything?
Yes, we'll have Metropolitan Police, Department of Fire. We'll have an evacuation plan set up. And it's our typical event that we typically have. We have the vendors from the departments with district government, health and welfare. So we all have, it's pretty much the same things that we're having. The only thing different that we're having is we're going to have live music.
We have what music?
Live music.
music.
Oh, live. Okay. All right. I think I've been there a couple times when you had when she
Yes,
had a
you have.
band or something in prior years, but yeah, the line dancing and all that good stuff. So that's
Yes.
right. Any other questions?
I'd like to put a motion on the floor that we approve it.
I'll second that motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded that ANC 5A support the North Michigan Park Community Day for August the 13th. You ready for the question? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, let the record reflect the vote was unanimous. All right, we are
Thank you all
moving
very
right
much.
along here now. And we are in the part 5 of this agenda. Is the police get here yet?
I don't see them. The only person I see from this part is
Nokomis.
Nokomis.
Okay, so I did see Nokomis, and Nokomis, sir, you have the floor. You called me, tried to call me earlier and I was out. So you have the floor.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. I want to thank you for inviting me on. So I would like to first begin with my update with informing you guys that on May 11th, the mayor has announced the expansion of neighborhood connection service. The neighborhood connect service in the Northwest and Northeast side of Ward 5. So the mayor and the Department for Hired Vehicles has announced this program. The service now includes the Fort Lincoln neighborhood and the shop at Dakota Crossing in Ward 5 and the Noma Gallaudet University Metro Station in Ward 6. For those that don't know about this program, the DC Neighborhood Connect is a micro transit service that allows riders to get picked up and drop off close to their destination. Unlike a bus, micro transit doesn't pick up a large number of riders in a wide area with regular shops. So instead, the customer use an app or their phone to call DC Neighborhood Connect, and a van will come pick you up within a designated area and take you to the location within that area. And back in last year, 2021, the mayor has invested $1 million to continue the program and expand it to new areas. So for this year, the mayor added an additional investment of $1.7 million to continue the program. So her proposed fiscal year 23 Fair Shop budget proposed to maintain that level of funding. So in adding the expansion, the Department for Hired Vehicles has adjusted the boundary of DC Neighborhood Connect Service Zone. So a new Zone 1 is bordered by Georgia Avenue, Eastern Avenue, and Michigan Avenue, which is including parts of Ward 4 and Ward 5. A new Zone 2 is bordered by Georgia Avenue, Florida Avenue, Bladensburg Road, Eastern Avenue, which is included parts of Ward 1, 4, and 5. And residents traveling to and from Washington Hospital Center or the Brooklyn Metro Station are able to cross Zone 1 and 2. And lastly, Zone 3 serves Ward 8, which is the east of the Anacostia River. So for those that's interested in using this program, you can download that app from the Apple App Store or Google Play, or you can call the number 202-398-0500 to get a ride. For my next update, wanted to
Nicomas, I'm
inform
sorry,
you
real
guys.
quick. Can you put that information in the chat so that people have it as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for some of you that the commission that I have, you have missed my call, I would just wanted to inform you that tomorrow that the mayor and DMPAD will be announcing the new recipient of the Great Street Small Business Retail Grant. The conference will be at 3415 11th Street Northwest, starting at 11 o'clock. So for those that have any businesses and that's interested in any grant, you're more than welcome to come and hear the update on that. And lastly, I can get a second. Yeah, and lastly, so I have been sending emails, showing concerns about the leakage, the water leakage on a sidewalk of South Dakota Avenue. So I have reached out to DC Water and Department of Environmental and Energy. They both said that they are still running investigation. So DC Water said that they are not claiming that that is their responsibility, but I'm still waiting on feedback from them to find what the solution is and who will be responsible for taking care of that issue. And
Nicomas, real quick, I'm
also-
sorry, real quick, just to clarify, that's the issue that was raised in the email chain that's in Commissioner Fletcher's SMD, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And also I've been getting a call about the pool opening at the One Life Fitness gym. So I believe DCR. Well, so they are trying to open their pool. So they are in need of certificate of occupancy. So they need to add their pool onto that certificate and not just the gym. So once DCRA receive the paperwork for that, then they are permitted to open the gym as well.
I'm sorry, which one is that, Nicomas?
The One Life Fitness gym.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, on South Dakota Avenue.
At the Martin, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will be all for my update. So for anyone that has any questions, I'm open to answer them.
Thank you, Nicomas. As always, like I say, a good report. I don't see any hands raised.
I have one question, Chairman Edwards.
Okay.
Nicomas, could you just provide the information for the residents so we all have it on the new vaccination stations that are now, there's one in Ward 5 on Rhode Island Avenue, so people have that information.
The COVID centers?
Yep.
Yeah. Are you asking like the location where they can go? So there's I can't exactly remember the exact address, but they are open. I believe the Tuesday and Friday. Not sure of the hours, but I can make sure I can look that up.
I think it's more than Tuesday and Friday from the website that I saw. I can look it up, but it's over in the Rhode Island Avenue Plaza by the DMV Center.
Yes, on Washington Place.
right, Washington Place.
And we still have the location at Murray Center.
Correct.
Nokomis, from the last meeting, I have a question there. And I see Shannon has her hand up, and you'll be next. Nokomis, do you know what happened with the final budget for MPD? Do you know if any additional they were at our meeting and had some concerns about $6 million that had been taken from the budget. Do you know what happened with that in the end?
For MPD?
Yeah.
I do not. I do
Okay.
not know.
All right. If you could find out and just send me an email, I'd appreciate it. Shannon, you have the floor.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the update, Nokomis, on the sidewalk flooding. I've been working with Commissioner Fletcher on it. I'm curious if there's a specific timeline about when the responsible party will be involved. I know it's been a little bit of a back and forth between a few different agencies, and I'm curious if there's kind of goal timing for when a responsible party will actually be identified to address it and fix it.
I don't have an exact timeline, but I know the Department of Environmental and Energy responded that they will reach back out to me this week.
Great, thank you.
So then you'll once you hear something, you will notify Commissioner Fletcher so he can let Ms. Shannon know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Nokomis. You got anything you want to say in closing?
That would be all. I'm happy to continue to work with you commissioners. Y'all are very great people. I'm just a phone call away. I'm always here to serve you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nokomis.
All right, commissioners, we're down to, did someone from McDuffie's office come or from the?
No, I texted Silas and they're having some changes in people and I don't believe someone's been assigned to this meeting. So unfortunately they don't have someone coming.
All right. So we're down to community comment period. It's 8:20.
Can we go back to the contract for EY?
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Eve contract.
Sorry. That's still an order of business. Let's move back up to that. Yes.
Yeah. I reached out to Commissioner Lucio a couple of weeks ago about the contract for the IT. And we've expended pretty much all of the money that's on the contract. We have probably about $114 left. My concern is the contract, we started off with $2,500. We start off with $2,500. We have expended $2,385.65, which we have about $114.50 left. And that includes the $150 for hosting. And the contract is extended through December 31st. My concern is that, do we need to continue the services of the contract, or did we just need to continue having funding availability for the hosting, which is due in September? We pay $150 a year for hosting. The contract basically was for the creation of the website and doing the upgrades and modifying the website for ANC 5A. Now they've completed all of that task. So I'm just trying to figure out, do we need to have the type of contract? Should it just be a maintenance contract, or what type of contract are we looking to have through the end of the year? And we have to add additional money if we're looking at it in a different perspective. Because it's just initially a contract for redesign, for design and implementation of the website.
If I can add on to that. So I would agree that we probably need a maintenance contract in addition to the hosting contract, only because once in a while there are issues that come up. There's a couple issues we still have yet to resolve. One of them is putting the videos on the website. There is still an issue with putting the videos on the website for a number of reasons. So that's one issue we have yet to resolve. The other issue we are having an issue. The other thing we're having an issue with is the meeting notices. They're not automatically coming off of the site, and they're for some reason, it's not letting me, when I go in there, remove them. So that we're trying to work through that. So I'm not suggesting that this is going to be, you know, a reoccurring need to have them intervene. But what I would suggest is that from time to time, we are going to need things as we make changes or additions or whatever. And so I would suggest some type of maintenance contract in addition to just the hosting part.
All right,
So-
go ahead, Commissioner Washington.
So if we're talking about just generally a maintenance contract, then we need to get something from them, you know, or we need to put out a RFP or whatever it is for a maintenance contract on the system that we have. Now, if the current contractors can provide that, then they need to tell us what it would cost yearly for maintenance outside of the hosting fee.
So, yeah.
Because right now we just have an implementation contract. And if I'm hearing you correct, Commissioner Lucio, are we still implementing or are we just making corrections? Because
It's a little bit, it's a little bit of both.
So what are we still implementing? Because I mean.
So we're trying to implement the videos piece because we have not resolved that yet. And also, there was one other thing we were working on not too long ago. It had to do with adding the single member districts, but I think we got that resolved. So, you know, I think it's very, very little implementation. It's mostly maintenance.
So we.
But there's
need
no design element that I can think of at the moment.
So that contract is, those services are over. So what we're moving to now is maintenance. So we need a maintenance agreement, if I'm correct.
I would say that would be correct. I'm just trying to think if there's anything outstanding that we had originally agreed upon that we haven't done, and I don't believe there is. But that's not to say that something couldn't come up if we decide we want to add something later on. So, but I think for the moment, moving to a maintenance contract should be sufficient.
A maintenance agreement, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I don't want to see happen is that, you know, we just keep implement and don't have a time frame on when the implementations are complete. I understand we're going to have situations, but when is the total implementation going to be complete?
Well, I think the thing about a website, Commissioner Washington, is that it's somewhat fluid, right? In the fact that, you know, it's always one of those things where we're looking to see, you know, what else we need to add, what are things we need to change. When we get new commissioners, there's going to be things that change next January. And so there will be times when there's a little bit more than just maintenance required, I believe.
Right. And you will be doing a new contract at that time. I'm just talking about through December 31st is where I am. Okay.
Correct.
So right now we don't have, if something were to go wrong and they bill us, we don't have any funds to pay them. That's my concern. There's no additional money on the contract. So if we're going to move to a maintenance agreement, then we need to have them to issue us a maintenance agreement with a cost effective through whatever the effective date is through December 31st.
Well, and I think we gotta take it a little bit further than December 31st, because we have to allow the new commission an opportunity on a good contract. I mean, if we kill that contract and then they come in at the beginning of the year, they have nothing and they can't even use the website and all of that. So I think we have to make sure we cover the expenses or whatever on this thing at least through the end of January, so that the new commission.
Okay, I mean,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I agree with that. Yeah,
right.
I agree with that. But we need to put some money on it and we need to agree with how much the services are going to be, because
That's
right
right.
now we don't have the money.
I would actually say to the end of February, because the commissioners aren't sworn in their new roles until the January meeting. And the January meeting doesn't happen until the last week in January.
Well, you can't do any expenditures anyway in January.
Right.
Because January 31st is fine, because you still can't do any expenditures.
That's true.
Until you have that audit paperwork go through. So you can't do anything.
Yep, that's true.
Right, but I mean, would it be, okay. I mean, I just want to make sure we're not setting them up for having an issue if they're not able to do that at the January meeting. And then having, not having the time to February to work through it since there'll be several new commissioners.
Yeah, that'll be on your first thing on your agenda for that January meeting.
Okay.
That contract.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm either way, whatever the commission decides on that. I just think we need time. I don't have a problem with till February, but if Commissioner Washington thinks January 31st is good, I'm fine. So where are we now?
We need to, Commissioner Lucio, you're gonna contact them then and ask us what a maintenance agreement would look like?
I will reach out to them.
And give us a dollar amount for the maintenance agreement? Through January 31st or February 1st, whatever.
Yes.
So, and am I understanding, Commissioner Washington, that we have $114, and so is that going to cover expenses that you are aware of, Commissioner Lucio, between now and the end of, or how long? Yeah.
That's why I'm asking for a dollar amount. What is their services cost going to be for maintenance on the system?
I got you. So we'll know that when next month, Commissioner Lucio.
Yes, I will try and get that in time for the meeting next month.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. And if you need to reach out to me, if they need to, they can.
Commissioner Washington, I just think for simplicity and consistency, I will include you in my communications. with
Okay.
it, because as you know, we have to do it by email. So.
Right, you're right. I got you. No problem. All right.
Anything
Then
further?
we'll just, no, that's it. So we'll just wait until the June meeting and decide on and vote on the contract, the dollar amount and so forth at that point. Thank you.
All right. Anything further? Commissioner Rojas, I do have to apologize to you, and we need to sort of, I guess, talk, and if there's anything that I need to do in order to, on that last letter, because
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I can call you afterwards or something.
Okay.
If
Okay. All right. Any further business? All right. Seeing none, this meeting is. All right. You have the floor.
Okay, we don't have the police department there tonight, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. I'm just gonna share what one of the residents brought to my attention about a month ago. The resident lives on South Dakota Avenue, has a English accent. She is a reporter, and she had called me several times inquiring through the police department about the crime. And they referred to the ANC. I'm not a police. So she told me something that came a little alarming to me to respond to one of the officers gave back to her. One officer made a statement to her by telling her she lives on the wrong side of South Dakota Avenue. I said, whoa, okay. Then told the young lady, maybe she ought to consider selling her home. I took that to heart to when you're telling a resident, you need to sell your house or you're living in the wrong place. I didn't think it was the wrong place here in this neighborhood. So I did reach out to the lieutenant one night then, and he said he would send someone there to explain to that was a mistake, but I've not heard from the lieutenant or anybody dealing with this issue to make the lady feel comfortable. She wanted to sell her home and get out of here because of those statements she get, and she's asking about the crime. That's all.
All right, well, keep me posted on that, Mr. Lockett. I have another issue with Lieutenant Shout that I'm working on as well. So let me know what kind of progress you have. If you have any problems, then we can coordinate and kind of work together on trying to get a response from on both our issues. Any other concerns? All right, seeing none, this meeting.
Basketball time.
All right.
Is the game on now? It's
yes,
on now.
8:30. 8:30.
All right, we getting out it right in time.
Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate you all tonight.
Have a good one.
All right,
Okay.
Rip, I'll call you after this.
Good night,
Okay,
everyone.
sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Okay.
Thank
Night,
you all.
everyone.
Good
All
night.
right. Mhm.